Okay, this is the Dennis Robinson KA4AFE memorial repeater. Up here at the top you can see it's the N5 BVA 444.1 repeater and cans. This is the one that recently got replaced. This blue thing is an old Candycom that has been gutted. I sanded it down and gave it a new paint job of that candy blue. I was going to put decals and labeling on the front, but I kind of liked it without it. And so part of the benefit of this video is it's going to be a manual for me in case I am confused on what all the controls do in the future. We'll get to that in just a minute. Our Ethernet is provided with the same with the D-Star and the GMRS stuff. The bottom is the master power supply. That's not the master as being in main masters, and it's master 3 or 2 rather. And next is the Wacom cans, which are actually my first set of duplexers I ever had that Dennis used later on when he wanted to get the 375 back up and going. But anyway, a little bit about the controls here. We have the front speaker. This is a audio mute for the local speaker. So the idea is you can leave that down when you leave the site, or leave the audio wherever you want and just flip that down. This is a PTT control switch. That's for doing decence tests and was very helpful while on the bench lining stuff and troubleshooting some noise problems. But this is a... Okay, so when the PTT line leaves the controller, and you'll even see the PTT LED over here will be on, this controls it right before it goes into the transmitter. So this thing will show that it's transmitting, but it's not if this switch is down. So this switch has to be up for this repeater to be transmitting. Mic jack for a local mic. Dad'll ever use it. This is a volume control. So now we get to the Joule LEDs. Power, which shows power to the control board here on the back of the front panel. The heartbeat LED, which shows the CM108 sound fob for AllStar is flashing. This is a dual purpose LED. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, but it's dim right now. It's actually dimmer than some of the other ones. And if I keep the PTT here, it gets slightly brighter. You might be able to see there. So anyway, it's dim to show that the receiver's on standby, and it's brighter when it shows it's actually receiving a signal. The next one is the PTT light, which obviously shows when the controller says, hey, it's time for the repeater to transmit. This next one is a LED that tells me whether or not the relay for the fan is on. Since the fan is so quiet and it's hard to reach around the back to see if there's any airflow, the purposes of that is to tell me when the fan is above 40 degrees Celsius. So if I transmit it here, let's just mute that for a second. If I transmit here, just let the repeater key up K5DVT testing. We should see that this LED light come on momentarily. There it is, right on cue. This next one here is a SWR sensor, which pretty much tells us whether or not there's an SWR fault on the line. We're less than 3 to 1 right now, so we must be doing okay. And this next one is an auxiliary one that I have connected to the Pi that I can turn on and off for various program instances. I can probably stop transmitting there. Anyway, so that's an overview of the 375 machine as it's been restored, the memorial repeater. And it's now located down here in what's called the D-Star shack. Its antenna is a GP6, up about 80 foot on the south side of a tower, so it is a little bit directional. Where it was previously at was sharing a receive antenna with the 315 repeater of mine, with a top mount DB224, but I had to go through the cans over here on the receive side and split it off, and it ended up being quite a bit of loss on both receivers, and it really didn't make that much sense for as much use as the 375 was getting. So, although it's a little bit lower range, it's been relocated to a position where it's going to be more friendly and conducive to a nicer environment, I'll say that. Anyway, thought people might enjoy this tour. Again, this is the Dod Mountain KA4AFE memorial repeater.